Thanks, Basil. I just want to give you a bit of an insight into the Saturday afternoon team. We're a bunch of unique individuals.
All right, I guess we'll get into the sport talk then. A lot to talk about with footy and basketball, considering there's a playoffs series happening. But Jackson, I guess you can take this one away.
Well, yeah. Obviously, there's been 2 rounds of footy since we last did a podcast, but won't go much into round 4 because that'll take too much time. But we'll start off with round 5. Obviously, gather round in Adelaide. All games there for the first time this year. They've just re-signed for another 3 years, which will help South Australia, I suppose. But yeah, we look at the first game on Thursday night between Adelaide and Carlton, and Adelaide got off to a fast start with 51 points in the first quarter, plus 66 in disposals in that opening quarter. I think, did anyone tip Adelaide?
Yeah, I did.
I did.
Yeah.
I didn't, but
2 and 2.
definitely should have.
Unsure.
Carlton have never won at
Yeah,
Adelaide
I think
Oval.
you Burns boys tipped Carlton.
Yeah.
Hugo and I did the Crom.
When it's just Carlton, they've got a shocking record there.
I think Hugo has something to say.
Just quickly, I got 7 out of 9 tips right last week, and the ones I got wrong were the Saints and bloody Melbourne.
I think I got 8 out of 9, and the one I got wrong was the Essendon Melbourne one. Yeah,
it's 1 out of 1. That's the only record I keep tabs on.
Yeah, I wish I can say
since
the same.
the infamous pigtails.
But yeah, all right. Well, on that note, Owen, what were your thoughts? Adelaide jumped out of the box. I suppose your thoughts on how they played.
Good to see. I mean, I'm not going to say Carlton being found out, but it's good to see Carlton lose the game. Back to the drawing board. I've got a press conference actually this week with Vossi, so might say...
and you're just coming off a quote, good to see Carlton lose.
Hopefully he doesn't listen to this.
Don't say that to Vossi. But
shout out to Vossi if you're listening to this, by the way.
I'm sure he would.
He's a bit intimidating.
He's probably an avid listener.
Anyway, but no, it was great performance by Adelaide, and they look like a threat, Adelaide. I think a lot of people were writing them off. I don't know if I was either, saying they're going to be good this year or bad. I thought they were just going to be a mediocre kind of team, but they're looking really good. I really like Fogarty as a forward. Like, he's just old-fashioned, good marks, kicks from all angles of the ground. But yeah, great to see Adelaide dominate Carlton. And yeah.
Yeah, 5 goals Fogarty kicked in that game, and I suppose you could almost say that that helped to pretty much seal the game late because he kicked a couple late. But yeah, and then Jordan Dawson had 32 touches once again.
Skipper's performance.
Yeah, Blair. If you want to go into that.
Yeah, obviously he's having an unreal year. And he's just relished the captaincy, hasn't he, really? He's just stood up each week. He's obviously leading from the front. He's doing his job. He's effective with his kicks. And he's a big reason as to why they're going to win some games like that. And not just win games, like 56 points. I think that's the difference between Adelaide this year as well. I think they can put sides to bed. And like against Tigers as well, obviously, they came really hard. I think Adelaide are not to be sort of laughed at. I think if they've got the right blokes out there, which I feel like they do, and they've put a lot together. But Dawson's been unreal this year, so off to a flyer.
Hugo. We look at that. Jordan Dawson had 32. I think Rory Laird had 30 plus touches as well. When you look at the likes of Cripps, who had 19, Walsh had 24. How do you feel their midfield was able to dominate that game?
Well, I'm not going to lie, I didn't watch the game, so I'm not too sure how they did. But on Adelaide, I think they'll push the 8. Like, they should make the 8 from here, but I think they'll be in that 8 to 12 or 6 to 12 range, sorry. But Adelaide's one of those teams, you don't want to face them on a good day because their forward line is elite. And everyone knows that's their best weapon. If they beat you in the midfield, Adelaide will smack you. So it's good to see Adelaide up and about after a quiet couple of years, and Isaac Rankin, he's arguably the most exciting player in the comp. Like, when he gets on, he's so exciting to watch.
He's exciting, but there are a lot of...
It's a fair shout, I reckon.
You reckon?
Yeah. I reckon he's...
Top 5?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
3?
Yeah.
2?
Stop the dome, yeah.
So you reckon top 3 most exciting players? Isaac Rankin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's pretty watchable. I mean, he's playing a lot.
He's
better,
like Eddie Betts 2.0.
a lot
Oh, yeah.
better and a lot more consistently than what he did at Gold Coast. Just being probably just in a
He
better
probably
side.
he just
and
likes
back
back home.
Yeah,
Feels more comfortable.
Well, talking about putting together a case for being one of the most exciting players in the competition, have Richmond and Sydney on Friday night, and Tom Papley 6 goals, 25 disposals. Connor, I suppose, what were your thoughts on that performance? And does Isaac Rankin have I suppose an opponent in that field that was just mentioned by Hugo?
Yeah, well, potentially. I mean, Papley kicked 6, like you said, and he kicked them all in the second half, I think, which, he's obviously done very well. But, yeah, there was a few defensive breakdowns there, I'm sure, to allow that to happen. But, yeah, I don't know. It was pretty... to start the game, it was really quite indicative of how Richmond have played through the early part of the year. They just were struggling to hit targets and... really just basic, fundamental skill errors that let them down. And really, other than that, like, we were going all right. We got it in there enough, especially early, but just couldn't put reward and, scoreboard pressure on the opposition, which obviously hurts. And then, Sydney were just a bit better polished, used the ball a bit better, and kicked a bit straighter, and then Richmond did fight back in the second half, but as soon as Sydney sort of got out to about 3-goal lead in that last quarter, I think the Tigers just changed up a few things and didn't really mind losing by too much, sort of trying to win it rather than just playing the same way and going down by 3 goals. So that's kind of how it blew out in the end, but I know, disappointing all in all, and especially with Sydney's undermanned defence, I thought we could put them to the sword a bit more if we just used the ball a bit better. But another really patchy display, I guess, from the Tigers, and doesn't get any easier this week for them against Melbourne.
We'll get to that Melbourne game in a moment. Now, Owen, I want to ask you this. So Richmond have had 3 straight losses. They nearly Adelaide challenged them in that second round there. I suppose the question is, how do they tackle the rest of the season? They've got Lynch and Nankervis out long term. Two of their experienced players. Do they go down that rebuild path, or is it too early to go for it?
It's a tough one. Look, to be fair, their injury list is a very big injury list, and they've been against some pretty tough teams in these first opening rounds. Look, I don't think, like Connor said, it doesn't get any easier for Richmond. It's a tough one. I don't know if there needs to be a rebuild. I just think they really got to work out how they're going to perform without some of their key players that are injured. And I think some of their most experienced players are stepping up. I would like to see some of their younger players to really make an impact, even if this is their first season. If you're playing in the AFL, you're good enough to make an impact and have a say in the game. And I think some of the younger players, which some have, but I think if they want to show a bit of fight during these tough games, I want to see some of the young players to step up rather than your likes like Taranto, Hopper, doing all the work.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And obviously, I think looking at the next even 4 to 6 weeks, there's going to be opportunity for young fellas to step up. There's opportunity there. I mean, you only look at, Lynch and Nank out to 6 to 8. Jaden Short still out. Jack Graham's not in there, which even though he's still mid-20s or whatever, he's quite a key sort of leader in that. No Soldo, no Nank, no Ruck. Josh Gibcus, Tarrant missing from the back line. It's a lot of holes to fill, and I think we probably get away with it. Say we're playing maybe a few lower ranked teams if we'd played them over this sort of patch, but we have had a few of the better sort of sides, and that's why we've been getting found out a bit, I think. And it's not a lot. Even the Sydney game, it's not a lot to change really. All the KPIs were pretty similar. Our efficiency inside 50 was similar to theirs. It's just sort of you know, rather than losing by 2 goals and having a respectable loss, it blew out to 40 points and disappointing way to end. So I think it's a matter of like those young boys sort of coming in. But if we can get through, I don't think it's like, I think we've got the cattle there to, you know, play finals and be a good side. But it's a matter of getting through this tough patch when you don't have them to get them back. And if we can get through that patch with enough wins on the board to be a chance to play finals and look okay and get a few of those blokes back in towards the end, I'm hoping it's still okay. But yeah, it's tough sort of weeks at the moment, and it doesn't get any easier. Like Melbourne coming off a loss, and you know they're not going to just lay down and die easy, are they? So they'll be looking for. I think we've got Geelong the week after, or
a couple weeks.
Couple
I
weeks
think, down
after,
the track,
so
but yeah.
some tough sides coming up as well.
Yeah, the draw it'll get a little bit easier towards the sort of the second half of the year, but they've got to start, you know, finding ways to win, and you know, a couple of those close losses were really could prove, you know, pretty hurtful, and pretty bad sort of for our chances. But yeah, like you said, a lot of chances for young players to step up. You know, Cumberland, Sonsie, Ralph Smith, Judson Clark, even Samson Ryan. You know, it's going to be very tough with, I think Gawn might be coming back this week. So Gawn and Grundy against effectively just Samson Ryan. You know, Ben Miller can sort of chip in, but he's not a ruck. He's kind of a bit of a utility swingman type that they kind of just put in to sort of plug holes. But it's going to be tough for Samson Ryan. But I reckon Jaden Short might be back this week, which should help our ball use because very good user off his left and right foot. So that's one of the sort of few positives, I guess, at the moment. But there's a lot of blokes still out for a long time.
Yeah, we'll keep moving on now. Obviously, the other game on the Friday, Freo came back from 23 down to win by 10 points against Gold Coast. And Brisbane, after being tied at quarter time, they end up, you know, it was pretty much an onslaught, 75 points, 17-19 to 7-4 after quarter time. So
I picked North. Brisbane are so, you don't know what you're going to get. You honestly don't. Like, their forward line in some games just so inconsistent, can't put one through the big sticks, the likes of Hipwood, Danaher and Cameron. And then some games they kick 6 apiece and rip a team apart.
yeah,
It's tough.
And then we'll move on to the Twilight game. And Hugo, obviously, you saw Melbourne being a certain winner in this game, and
I think we all did. But Hugo was the one to just say, "No, this is the one I'm going to lock in for this week. I'm safe."
He was our spokesperson.
I'm not going to get a double punishment, but out of nowhere and quite convincingly, the Dons beat the D's, who are, you know, we still think D's are premiership favourites, but
now,
yeah.
Now, if I look at the stats here, pretty much Essendon beat Melbourne at their own game. You know, it's been known that Melbourne are hard to score off on the turnover, and Essendon had 8 more scoring shots from intercepts and 5 goals 3 in score from turnover extra than what Melbourne had. Hugo, you had some choice words to start off with. Do you care to explain a little bit more about that game?
I think it was a little bit of a mulligan for the D's. I think we'd all agree that Melbourne's list is a lot better than Essendon's, and 9 times out of 10, Melbourne probably beat Essendon. Well, maybe 8 times out of 10. Essendon's in some good form, though, which pains me to say because I hate them. But Sammy Draper is probably the only player in the history of Essendon that I actually like watching. You know, he's a gun. Kicked 3. And Phillips kicked 2, 3 as well.
Yeah, I think he kicked a couple.
You know, and the 2 ruck combo against Melbourne proved to be quite deadly. So that might be a bit of a weakness going forward, although Melbourne do get gone back this week, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if it's confirmed, but like he's
likely to come back.
Is a chance, yeah.
Yes, but it's an interesting watch on Melbourne if Gawn does get injured or if Grundy gets injured or something happens. You know, you might be able to beat them with the 2 rucks. And, you know, Essendon did look good and Melbourne looked a bit sluggish, to be honest, on the weekend.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in the game, like if you look at the stats, D's had 10 clearances more.
Yeah.
I think 33 to 43 it was. Yeah. Clayton Oliver and Christian Petrarca had 20 clearances between them. Yeah. And that's not the difference here is the use inside 50, Melbourne's efficiency, 43, which is, that's horrible, really, I think.
What was Essendon's?
54.
Okay.
So you're taking 11% difference inside 50 for a game, and that's where it hurts you. I mean, Melbourne won the clearances, but if they're going to use it at 43% inside 50, there's not going to be much good come from that. And yeah, the average for the season is under 50% as well. So
Yeah.
that's maybe somewhere they need to sort of have a look at.
Well, I think the league average is sort of just under 50% anyway. Like there have been games in the start where have been in the 30s and the 20s, but I suppose 11%.
And especially if
difference
you're looking at a premiership contender,
Mm.
you want to be using it at more than 43% inside. And there's no doubt that Clary and Track, they were winning the ball, but maybe there's a fair bit of dumping it on the boot and just getting it forward in that game compared to trying to lower the eyes. Like Clary had 41. And I think 108 or something fantasy. So clearly his efficiency wasn't ideal. But that's probably, if they fix that up, they probably win that game, I reckon. So it's not that much in it.
So we'll keep moving on because I'm aware of time. So if we go to the other games, Port and Bulldogs, Port kicked the last 4 goals of the game to win by 14. Geelong make it 2 in a row with a pretty dominant first half performance, which resulted in a 47-point win. And the Giants and Hawthorn, Harry Himmelberg to save the day pretty much. And, he takes that hanger, kicks the goal, put him in front, and then,
That was unbelievable. I mean, I wanted to watch the Saints and Collingwood game because that was on whilst the GWS game was on. But Kayo wasn't working, so I just went on to Channel 7 to watch the end of probably the most boring match I think you could ever think of, Hawks and GWS. And, that screamer on James Sicily.
Go back, put it through.
Yeah.
Big.
And Jesse Hogan missed a couple just before that moment. And then goes back in the defence and gets a fingertip on it to save the game and, goes for a minus score and GWS win in a very tight contest. It actually turned out to be one of the games of the round. And then obviously, the Pies and Saints game was another ripper. I know Jackson was at the game and Hugo was also, well, not at the game, but watching it. And a bit of heartbreak for you, Hugo.
Yeah, look, it was disappointing to lose. I thought that I haven't watched every game all year, but I thought that was the worst umpired game I'd seen all year. I thought that was quite bad. It was in the Pies' favour, but still wasn't great for both teams. But to me, it really, even though we lost, it was a massive belief, a bit of shot of belief for St Kilda because it's really the first test we faced, and they only lose by 6 against probably the premiership favourite right now. I think it really confirms that the system we're playing with works, and it's going to stack up later in the year. So it's a good shot of confidence to get, and I think that game on the weekend just solidified it. At the moment, Callum Wilkie's the best defender in the AFL, and I wouldn't say it's close this year. I think he's been awesome, and he's that far and away the best defender this year. He's been awesome.
Saints nearly stole some points, but 3 goals in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, that was quite exhilarating to watch. I was on the way to the basketball game, so I was watching that in the back of the Uber, and I was trying to contain myself so I could keep the 5-star rating up. But no, we would have stolen it had we won that game or drawn. Because even though I think St Kilda played really well, I think Collingwood outplayed us only marginally, but they did outplay St Kilda. And it was the first time really all year I'd noticed how bad the injury list that St Kilda had, is. It was the first time I can say this year we've been on talent. I think if we have our talent out there, and Collingwood were missing some of their best players, but I think if those best 22 for both teams, I think St Kilda would probably win that game, just because I think we've got a few more key players out. But it was a cracking game to watch.
And the atmosphere was electric. I think when St Kilda kicked those goals, a lot of people were going, "What the bloody hell's going on?" And then basically turn the enthusiasm up to 100. So, it was definitely a well thought out game, and I suppose both teams have got some big games, but we'll get to those in a minute. So, going to round 6, and pretty much, like I said, there's some games left, right, and centre. You've got a grand final rematch on Saturday night. The Blues take on St Kilda at Marvel 3:20, which, barring this week, would have almost been a top of the table clash. And then you've got Collingwood and Essendon on Anzac Day, which is the first time that both teams have been in the top 4 for an Anzac Day clash since 2000, which we obviously know what happened in that year there. Boys, yeah, fire out your tips whenever you...
Just go through them all.
Yeah, just go through them all.
Yeah,
and
easy.
just give
All
us
right.
everything.
Friday night, I'm going to say Freo over the Doggies. Saturday, Port over West Coast. Brisbane over GWS. And Geelong over Sydney. On Sunday, I'm going to say the Hawks over... Crows over Hawks. Ooh, this one's going to be a good one. I'm going to say Saints over Carlton. Well, at least I hope that. Gold Coast over North. I think Gold Coast need a big win at home. You never know. Monday, Melbourne over Richmond, and that's my certainty.
Ooh, okay.
And Anzac Day, I'm going to go the Pies over Essendon.
And just quickly as well, an Anzac Day medal tip for Tuesday.
Ooh.
Can always get back to you if you want, but
Nah, I'm going to say... I don't want to go for the obvious. Actually, no. Okay, come back to me. I'll be quick, though. I'll think of it quickly.
Connor?
I reckon Doggies over Freo, even though it's at Optus. Port Adelaide over West Coast, that'll be my certainty. Port will get up, even though they're a bit unpredictable. I think they'll knock off West Coast, surely. Brisbane over GWS. Geelong in a tight one over Sydney at GMHBA. First time they've been there this year. Crom, the Adelaide Crows will beat Hawthorn. I think St Kilda probably over Carlton. Gold Coast, they'll get a much needed victory over North. And Richmond to beat Melbourne. You know, it's obviously we're pushing a bit of shit uphill, but we'll back the boys in, and if they play, their best brand of footy, they're certainly capable. And then, probably the match of the round, really, Collingwood Essendon. Oh, jeez. I'll go with Collingwood, and for Anzac Day medal, I might go with Pendlebury. I think he's a big game player, and I think he'll really turn it on come Tuesday, Arvo.
Yeah, coming back to me, I'm going to say Brody Myercheck to win the Anzac Day medal.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go Freo to win, Port Adelaide to win, and that's my certainty. I'll jump on the wagon this week because that's what cost me last week.
So what was Connor's certainty? Was that the same?
Port
Yeah,
Adelaide,
fair
yeah.
enough. That safe option.
I'll say Brisbane over the Giants, Cats over the Swans, Crows over Hawks, Saints over the Blues, Suns over North, Melbourne over Richmond, but I haven't got the guts to go with Melbourne again as a certainty. And Collingwood beats Essendon, but Sammy Draper wins the Anzac Day medal.
Yeah, we'll kick it off. Freo over the Dogs. Port to beat West Coast, and that is my certainty. We beat up on West Coast. It worked for me last week. I'm doing it again. Giants to upset Brisbane at Manuka. Cats will beat the Swans. Crows to beat Hawks. Saints will beat Carlton. I reckon I'll smash them too, actually. North to beat Gold Coast. I'll have to tip Richmond so I don't get abused. And I'm going to go the Pies win. Parish, I reckon.
Okay.
Parish for the medal.
Yeah, I actually don't mind that. He's
In a losing-
he's fair
in a
chance to get
losing side.
35. In a losing side, though, yeah, that's a bit debatable then.
No,
But,
it won't be much in it though. I think.
Yeah.
Essendon are pumped. They're pumped up coming off a
It's
win.
one of the most, highly
Actually, I
anticipated
changed that.
games for a while.
Late change.
I hate the bloke, but Nick Dacos.
I was
Someone had to say it.
I was thinking him.
Someone had to say it, even if he does nothing with the 40.
Hopefully we don't have any Collingwood supporters listening to this podcast, otherwise they're going to hate on
Hey,
me.
I just tipped him and tipped Nick Dacos for the Anzac medal, so, I mean, we're friends.
Okay.
But yeah, all right, let's move on to basketball now.
Can we quick super coach
Oh, yeah, you
recap?
can. I kept
Gotta-
forgetting
Yes,
that.
We got to do the
Thanks
quick
for picking me up on that one.
Let's do this ASAP. Okay, well, I mean, I shouldn't have brought it up,
Yeah, you
but
should've.
we have to because it's, it's a weekly thing. Blair, you notched up 2,000 points in the draft, beating me. It's my first.
Okay, so that's why you wanted to bring
Actually,
it
closer to 2,100.
No,
was.
we bring it up.
2068.
No,
We bring it up every week.
I'll explain a message that that Blair said to me last night. He goes to me, he's like, we should be posting the Supercoach scores. I'm like, yeah, no worries, mate. I said I don't have access to them. I said feel free to do it. So yeah, I can understand now why you were
You
so
did
eager
not.
to do it.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
When I lost, it was on the story.
That makes
so
me sick. No, but we'll go into it. I mean, we're 5 rounds in? We're 5 rounds in. And if I quickly look at the ladder, I'm still on top. Four wins, 1 loss. I lost about 5% on my percentage. So I'm equal first with Hugo. Hugo beat Connor. And Connor's got the head in the hands. He's 0-5. And things don't get any easier. He's against his brother this week, who notched up over 2,000 points. And I think, Connor, you got 1,600 points.
it was 465, the difference between our scores last week.
Look, I think it's fair to say, myself, Hugo, Blair, we've kind of got it. What am I trying to say?
Joe going.
The mojo going. All right, I'll say that. Connor, we're 5 rounds in, mate, and you're still struggling to post a good score. I do admit your best score was round 1, and you just lost that. But since then, you've been going downhill. What is going on with the Burnsy boys?
It's tough to, I don't know. It's tough to stay up at times like this. I was all right pretty good really the first couple rounds, and unlucky not to get the win, and then. I guess it happens to everyone. Players get injured, stuff like this, all that sort of bullshit. But
Take it easy.
He's upset.
Look, players get injured, and then when you haven't got the win and posted all right scores, you dig yourself. You accidentally dig yourself a hole, I guess, that you can't get out of. And the dirt's filling in that hole right now and burying me. And I'm suffering a slow and painful death at the moment. But, I don't know. It's going to be tough to get out of this rut. But I'm going to try to just work a few trades potentially if you guys want to work with me, which I understand if you don't.
Just no dodgy trades this time.
Yeah, well, I know. I've got to throw something up to get something worthwhile, don't you?
And-
But, look, it's not looking good. I'm currently vigorously trying to switch guys in and out, trades. I'm looking at who's available still, and there's not much, if I'm being honest, not much that's any good out there. So it's going to be really tough to, get any sort of momentum into my season. But I want to play finals. But if I don't win a game, then really you probably should just cut me out, no matter what, and whoever has me in the final just. Cop a forfeit from me, but it's not looking great. It's not looking great. I had different ideas when we first selected the team, but I don't know. It's really tough to know what to say or know where to go from here, and it's just disappointing. Sorry, boys.
And before we move on, Blair, 2,068 points, the highest individual score from the round and for the whole season. No one's ever so far this season notched up 2,000 points. Coming off a real high, how are you feeling?
Yeah, look, I'm up and about. I think I needed this. I'm like the Brisbane Lions at the moment. While I have the highest score of the season, I also have the lowest, 1,524 round 1. So, that's lower than Connor's 5 weeks. It's lower than Hugo's worst, which was about 10 off. But I still hold the lowest, 1,524, and now the highest, 2,068, which I've been building every week. I started the first two 1,500, then got into the 1,600, 1,860 the other week, and now 2,068. And look, I'm not going to sugarcoat. To beat Owen by 260, I was pumped. I looked at the little projected. Lockie Neal pulled 176 for me. I said, look, I can't lose. And my lowest was Cripper, apart from Cozzy, which I traded in. Last week I traded in Cozzy. I swapped Cozzy for Isaac Heaney and put Isaac Heaney on my bench, who has been average. Had Papley in my forward line, so I was like, Papley's having a better game than Heaney anyway. I don't really care. Cozzy got 61. Heaney on my bench 144, which was more than Papley. And if I didn't do that, I would have got 2,140. But look, I'm feeling good. I've got Connor this week, so basically the bye, and then two wins on the board. And yeah, I'm coming. Owen, you know, I think it's fair to say out of all of us, you're most nervous of me.
Yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Yeah, you're probably my biggest threat, especially coming to once we get to the end of the season. I still think you guys are a pretender. I'm sorry.
4-1.
All it
4-1.
all it takes is for
4-1.
mate, half your team is St Kilda players.
And one of your wins against me, I scored 1,500.
All it
So
takes-
that's barely.
All it takes is
That
for
says more about you than me, doesn't it?
Well, 2068.
all it takes is for St Kilda to have a bad game, and half the team get 50, 60 Supercoach points, and the downfall starts.
I don't think it's like that anymore, mate. I think St Kilda won't play a bad game this year. Touch wood.
Joshy Ward won't get you over the line every week, mate.
Nick Dacos, the Goey. Josh Dacos.
Yeah, that's all you got.
Oh, I've got other blokes. Hang on, I don't know. who I've got,
St
actually.
Kilda and the Dacos boys. And
Yeah,
DeGoey.
pretty much.
And Josh Ward, who cost me a game.
Anyways, it's gonna be a good round. And yeah, stay
No.
tuned.
It's going well. Like, it's different to last year.
Oh,
you
I've
know?
got Sarong. That's what
Oh,
I've got.
He's done alright
And
last
Cox.
couple of rounds.
Different to last year. We're not watching Mansell win every
Yeah, we
week
are.
and sweat it up. So,
Well, Mansell lost a few games last year.
yeah, but he
And
did-
it was like
Only a couple.
yeah, and because I remember I beat him once, and I was feeling probably how you're feeling beating me. Like it's a surprise. You're like, wow, I had a really good good week. But,
I'm
anyway.
chuffed. That's all I'm going to say. Thanks for bringing it up. I'm really feeling good about it.
Oh, well, I'm not. Anyway,
Alrighty. Yeah, so moving to another sport in the stratosphere, we're going with the basketball, and NBA playoffs have just started. They've kicked off last week, but before we get into that, there are some season awards that have been already announced, and JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr. from the Grizzlies was Defensive Player of the Year. Put up a pretty solid season, first All-Star appearance. But yeah, there are some other awards that are out there. So, boys, I want to get your thoughts on these before they are released. We'll probably start from least prestigious to the highest prestigious award. Let's start with Coach of the Year, and so obviously there's some three decent nominees there. I don't even know how to pronounce the guy's name, Zajan Oltz or something like that. From I don't know how do you pronounce it?
Who is it?
Exactly, the guy from OKC.
Oh yeah, no clue.
Exactly. So the OKC coach, they snuck into the play-ins and nearly got to. They nearly made the playoffs and got into the first round, and then we've got Joe Mazzulla from the Boston Celtics, who has taken over from Ime Udoka, and then we've got Mike Brown from the Sacramento Kings, who has taken them to their first playoff appearance in 16 years. Boys,
well, you've just said it there, Mansell. First playoff since 16 years.
16
You said
years.
Mike Brown, Coach of the Year for the Kings, 100%.
Yeah, I went Mike Brown as well. Obviously, the Sacramento Kings had a playoff, absence. Is sort of a bit representative of St Kilda's grand final premiership drought. So
That's another low blow from you guys.
yeah, but I don't know. You got to hit him while he's up at times, and St Kilda up. But yeah, Mike Brown has been a revelation for the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, I'll light the beam as well and go with Mike Brown. Just quickly, Connor, watch yourself at training tomorrow.
Righto, mate. I'll grow eyes in the back of my head and watch out then.
Yeah, Brown Dogger.
Yeah.
Mike Brown from the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, as much as I want to say Mazzulla, he had the foundation at Boston, especially with the final. They made the NBA Finals last year, and Mike Brown first year as coach, and 2-0 up against the reigning champs, and potentially could knock him out first week of the playoffs or first round of the playoffs. So
Not happy about that, Blair.
Nah, look, I picked Mike Brown because I thought he was from the Knicks. So now finding out that he's against us in the playoffs, I'm a bit upset with that. Owen amended it. If we don't have to touch on that unless you want Anyway.
Well, yeah. Sort of speaking about the Knicks, one of their players, Emmanuel Quickly, is up for nomination in the Sixth Man of the Year, as well as Bobby Portis from the Milwaukee Bucks and Malcolm Brogdon from the Boston Celtics. Owen, I think I know where you're going to go with this, but shock me.
No, Emmanuel quickly, 100%. Bobby used to also play for the Knicks as well before joining whoever he's joined.
Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee Bucks, that's it. But no, Emmanuel quickly. He can almost start for us as well. He's that good. But yeah, he deserves something. Sixth Man of the Year, yeah, take it.
Yeah, I went Emmanuel quickly as well. I think he's been a revelation for the Knicks. Yeah, obviously one of the many reasons why they've gone pretty well.
Yeah, I reckon Bobby Portis.
Malcolm Brogdon from the Celtics.
There you go. I'm also going to say Malcolm Brogdon from Celtics. No bias there, but similar points in terms of Brogdon and Quickly. I think the difference lies.
Same.
Yeah, 14.9. I think the difference lies within the 3-point percentage. 44.4% for Brogdon compared to 37 for Quickly. I think with Boston being one of the top 3-point shooting teams in the competition, I think it does give some much needed assistance there. All right, we'll go into Rookie of the Year, and I don't think it's going to be as close as some of the other categories here. We've got Paolo Banchero.
What was that?
Marcus,
What the heck was that?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Paolo Banchero.
You got it.
Number one pick for the Orlando Magic. 20 points, 6.9 rebounds a game. It almost looks like it's going to be a one-man street. Walker Kessler looks like his biggest challenge, but that being said, Paolo, my man, he will take out Rookie of the Year. Thoughts, boys?
Jalen Williams.
Rightio.
Paolo Banchero will win it, I think. Pretty dominant stats, for a young tacker.
Yeah, Paolo.
Willie, Jalen Williams.
Okay.
Good job, mate. Good pick.
Rightio.
Good pick.
That's just because you picked him.
Nah, he's got potential. I
So,
reckon.
who's
he play for?
Who's he play for? Yeah.
Next question.
No, come on. Who's Jalen Williams play for? I only found out a week
No
ago.
comment.
I only found out a week ago. If that makes you feel better.
We're not going to be going on with the pod until you answer.
Come on,
those.
you got.
Without your phone.
Get the phone off.
Mansfield didn't even write it down.
Oh,
The Knicks, I don't know.
no, he plays for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh yeah.
I knew that one.
We should be playing who we play for with Blair Burns.
I thought Mike Brown was the coach of the Knicks, so give me a spell.
Yeah, sorry to do you like that, mate. I didn't.
You're
I
a
thought you
foul.
might actually know.
Mate, the most improved player, I picked Brunson. Don't even know his first name.
Yeah, well,
Now
let's
he's a Knicks player.
let's get on to most improved player. Knicks player Brunson Jalen.
Kick it off with Brunson.
He will. He's in contention for most improved player, as well as Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Laurie Markkinen. Definitely a high stakes award here. All three, I'm pretty sure, were in the All-Star game, as far as I'm aware. We've got some decent numbers here. For me, it's a tough one, but I'm going to go with Shea. I reckon just what he's done. He almost put himself in MVP contention. If OKC played better and were sort of a top 4 or top 6 team in the West, he would be in the conversation. But 31.4 points a game, 7 points better than what he had last year, and still keeping similar numbers for assists and rebounds, around 5.5 assists and 5 rebounds a game. I reckon he'll take it out, but it will be a very tight race. It could go to any one of them, and they would be deserving of it.
Yeah, I reckon Jalen Brunson. Toombs, you'd love me saying that, as he's probably number one fan. But yeah, he's been big this year.
Yeah, I think SGA will win.
I
I
go for
think-
the Knicks too.
Yeah, I know Owen goes for him.
Toombs
but
is 2.
Yeah, no, No, but Toomsy would love it. Just a little. I was just giving it a little.
Toomsy was
shout-out.
probably a Knicks fan prior to this season.
Yeah, I think Toomsy's been there through the dark.
Oh,
ages.
come
Probably
on.
guys are halfway through this season.
Mate, I've been a Knicks fan since I reckon I started following it.
Fake fan.
Come on, man.
Back in the day, though,
Nah,
there wasn't much engagement there,
Probably
let's be honest.
2013, 14. Maybe Toomsy's Instagram profile's Brunson. So okay, we'll give it to him. But I'm not a fake fan. The Knicks fan. Being a Knicks fan's it's a tough life. But we're seeing some positive signs. But anyway, here you go. Sorry, I interrupted you, dude.
Yeah, no, I think SGA will win. Although I think Brunson should win, but because Brunson started from a lower base. But
Yeah,
SGA.
that's what it
I think
means.
they'll
Most
give it to SGA.
most
though.
improved player. That's
Yeah.
what it means. Yeah.
I mean, SGA improves, but I think they'll give it to SGA because he's playing at a higher level.
Well, if we talk about the lowest base, Markkanen actually, he's plus 11 points and 3 rebounds this season. But yeah, no.
No one knows
cool.
that guy.
He's in the military. I think.
Yeah, he's over serving. So
Oh, respect.
Yeah, well done to him.
I salute to him then. Sorry,
Yeah. Blair?
Blair's
I
researching.
already said Brunson.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, good call.
Okay.
and I'm Jalen Brunson as well.
Yeah. All right. Now the big dog of the awards, the MVP, most valuable player. Again, could go either way. We look at Nikola Jokic. Almost became the third player ever to average a 20-point triple-double this season, with Westbrook and Oscar Robertson doing the same. 0.2 assists a game off. Does have 63% field goal percentage. And then we've got Joel Embiid, 33-point double-double. He's averaging third best record in the East for the 76ers. And then you've got Giannis as well, 31.1 points, 12 rebounds a game, 5.7 assists. Best record in the league. You know, statistically it looks like Giannis, but that being said, I'm going to go Joel Embiid. I think their turnaround the 76ers has been first class, and I'm going to go Embiid to take out his first MVP.
Likewise, I think Embiid as well.
Yes, I'll third that and go Embiid as well. Just such a dominant big man.
I think Giannis.
Giannis for myself as well.
Rightio. There we go. All right. Well, we've gone through the season awards. We'll do finals MVP when it comes around to the finals. But speaking about trying to get to the finals, there are 16 teams that are fighting for it at the moment, and you know, there's some series that could go either way, but you know, there are some that could be sure bets. Boys, if you guys want to give me your the winners for the first round that you reckon, we'll do this progressively. So as we get into the second and like we get to the conference semis and the conference finals, we will keep doing this on a regular basis. So Owen, you've got yours up ready to go. Who do you reckon will win?
Yeah, I won't say like how many games it will take, but I'll just go with who's gonna move on to the next round.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nuggets over Timberwolves, Suns over Clippers, Kings over Warriors, and I'm gonna say the Lakers over the Grizzlies. I think I don't know, a bit of a LeBron James masterclass, hopefully. I don't really care either, but I think Lakers will, they've got a good chance. In the Eastern, I think Bucks over Heat. We're gonna say Knicks over the Cavs. It'll be a close one though, but yeah, it'd be good to see the Knicks win. Hopefully, because that was my prediction before the season. I said to Knicks at least win a playoff series and move on to the next. So it's gonna be tough. We lost today, unfortunately. So it's now 1-1 the series, but yeah, hopefully the Knicks can progress. 76ers over the Nets and Boston Celtics over the Hawks, and I really hope you smash them. Yeah, because I do not like Atlanta Hawks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I might actually go how many games it'll take.
Yes, sir.
No, well, I think Denver will win it in 6 games against Minnesota. I think Phoenix Suns will win it in 6 games as well against the Clippers. I think the Kings will win in 7 games. I think the Warriors will fight back. I think they've just got too many experienced players and really good players not to. I reckon the Lakers will get up in 7 against Memphis in a real tight one. And then Eastern, Milwaukee Bucks will get up in 6 against Miami Heat, I reckon. And Cavs 7 games over the Knicks, which Owen won't like to hear. But anyway, and then 76ers will win pretty comfortably. I reckon just 5 games. I reckon Nets might get 1, maybe. But, fair chance they don't as well. And then Boston will sweep Atlanta in 4 games straight.
I think the Bucks beat the Heat, Celtics beat the Hawks, 76ers beat the Nets, Cavs beat the Knicks, and I think Lakers beat Memphis, Denver beat Minnesota, Kings beat Warriors, and the Suns beat the Clippers.
The Bucks to beat the Heat. Boston pump Atlanta. 76ers roll Connors Brooklyn boys. The Knicks beat the Cavs. What else do we have? The Denver Nuggets. Easy money.
He's talking like an expert.
The Grizzlies get it done against the Lakers.
You guys not happy with
The
that?
Golden State Warriors get it done against the Kings despite the 2-0 start.
Right.
Phoenix Suns get it done. That rounds out my tips.
I'm going to start with the East first because I've got some controversial calls in the West. I'm going to go. I've got the Bucks in 6 against the Heat. Although I reckon the Heat could challenge them, especially getting the opening game. Giannis is a bit of an uncertainty throughout the next couple of games, so potentially could be the Heat. They've done it before, so Cavs in 6 against the Knicks. It will be a really good series. I did have the 76ers in 7, but looking like it at the moment, it's most likely going to be 5. Celtics, I reckon, sweep the Hawks. We go Suns in 6 against the Clippers. That'll be a ripping series. Russ is clamping up KD at the moment and is doing his job. Kings in 6 against the Warriors. Warriors might take a couple of games, but I reckon the Kings will get it done. Grizzlies, I did say them in 5, but it's probably most likely going to be 6 now. With the way they're going, could be proven wrong. Who knows? And then this is the shock here. I reckon the Timberwolves are going to beat the Nuggets in the first round of the playoffs.
Big shout.
What are you
Big shout.
smoking?
It is a big call. I know that. I know
Dude, they just got rolled by 29 in the
Yeah.
first game.
But that being said, like when Minnesota are at their best, they're at their best. If they get Cat going as well, get them in that mix, I reckon they're a chance.
Cat is the softest player in the league. He is so
Headline.
soft.
Yeah,
No.
just behind Anthony
The
Davis.
No, hang on. You really better watch yourself
Oh,
tomorrow,
you
mate.
know it, mate. You know it.
No,
you know.
AD, you'd only say he's soft because he gets injured. Cat just doesn't do any post work when he should. Like, all he wants to do is shoot threes.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I don't really watch him too closely.
Well,
But, yeah.
just quickly, like, the playing game when the Lakers beat Minnesota should have absolutely smoked the Lakers.
Yeah.
Because Cat was on, but all he did was shoot threes.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't post up, especially when AD went off for a period of time. You should just go in and go to work, but he refused to, so...
Yeah.
I just want to know, Mansell, why?
Yeah.
Why you
that-
think this?
All right. So firstly, I reckon it'll be in 7 games. It won't be like anything easy. I reckon it'll be one of those close finishes in Game 7. I just reckon that Denver have the last couple of years they've been towards the top, but they haven't really made much noise in the playoffs themselves. Like they've dropped out pretty early, and like even though they've been towards one of the top teams,
Maybe this is their time, though, Mansell.
But I reckon it might not be as well. Although they've got Jokic, it's Jokic, and I suppose who else then in that case? So,
Jamal Murray
yeah, but
dropped
yeah.
24 in game 1.
This guy knows his
but,
facts.
yeah,
We got a
so-
new basketball expert here, Blade Burns.
Still, I just reckon it's a shock. There's always a shock in the
Jokic-
playoffs, and I reckon it's gonna
Jokic
be
is an
Timberwolves.
MVP contender.
Jokic and Murray. Timberwolves aren't getting close.
Yeah, I just don't.
Yeah,
That's a-
I'm with
It's
Chris
going to be a
there, but
sweep.
Yeah.
Just
Explain-
on, the,
4-0 sweep.
Explain your reason.
on Denver not making any noise. They did make the Western Conference Finals a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they did, but then the year before that, they didn't do much.
Yeah,
Or
but-
it was, yeah.
And
Is there a Boston and Denver rival or hate?
No,
Is
I
this-
just.
is no?
No, I just honestly reckon that it could be a shock. I mean, I'll stand corrected if it's wrong. But
Rudy Gobert's a pretender.
did you just search up
That's
his
facts.
name right now?
No. I just
You just
saw,
look at it, you're like,
saw we got 8 points in the loss. Like, have a crack, mate.
okay. All right,
Stat
well,
man.
Well, yeah, you think that, I think this. There you
No,
go.
it's a very
Hot take. It
It's
is.
oh,
Very hot
extremely
take,
hot
but-
take. But if you get it right,
We love it here.
we can
Yeah,
apologise.
that's what-
I know,
that's
we-
what-
Yeah, we're here for it.
yeah.
We all engage with our own thoughts and energy.
Sharing
No, it's-
sharing opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might not agree with us, but
That's okay.
that's
Because
okay.
just like you, we care.
Yeah.
And we're passionate about the
No,
game.
it's good. Some good discussion there, and we'll see how. The main thing is if the Warriors can get it turn
Yeah.
it around a bit. But yeah,
Rightio.
Mhm.
Yeah, here.
Just quickly before we finish up, as the listeners would know, the four of us do certainties each week, and it's about time that someone else joins the certainty.
Yeah.
And the
Oh,
fear
yes.
that comes with the certainties each week.
I know you can't sleep at night. You know.
So while Mansell can't do the AFL, we will then do the NBA. You do have we will do
Two
what,
today.
Is it 5 we've done already? Or
I like this.
This week's the
Hugo,
fifth
I like
one.
this.
So Mansell will do 2 today, 2 next week, and 2 the week after, and then everyone will be
Everything's
caught
even.
up.
Yep.
So Mansell must pick a game from 2 games from the NBA playoffs.
One
That
from the
has
Western,
to
one
be-
from the Eastern.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, I like that.
If you want.
They must be done by the time we record next week, so you can't.
Yeah.
Still not be
Yeah.
in limbo, but yeah.
All right.
Over to you, Mansell.
All right. Well, we did say Boston will sweep Atlanta. I'm going to go game 3. Boston will take out game 3.
Okay, there's the Eastern one.
There's the Eastern one, and in the West, although I said that,
He's gonna go against.
although I said that the Timberwolves were
Don't
winning 7.
don't chicken out.
No, I'm not chickening out.
Back-
I still
back
reckon they'll win the series.
Back the Timberwolves.
As he certainty.
Come
No,
on.
not as my certainty.
God,
Not
he's-
as my
They're go-
certainty.
But they're gonna win. In
We've
7.
rattled him. He's scared.
thinking about
Actually,
Oh, it's a late change.
where's the Lakers and Memphis being played?
Next game.
Yeah,
At Memphis. Game
Memphis.
2.
He's onto
I'm
it.
gonna go Memphis against the Lakers game 2.
Okay.
So yeah,
Both safe. They're still relatively safe options, but I guess you don't want to get punished. But okay, good to have Mansell on the on what we're doing.
Lakers got
Well-
up by 16 last time.
yeah.
Ooh.
What's your point?
So,
What's your point?
The stat man, Blair
You
Burns.
should be nervous. I found this good website. It's
What's the website called?
Wikipedia?
Fox Sports.
So
Nah, it's good.
Boston and Memphis to
In their
win,
next
win their next
games.
respective games, mate. All right.
So there we go.
Yeah.
Good
And
luck to you.
Thank
yeah,
you.
everyone, get the keyboards typing, get ready, put it in the notes, and then send it in when it happens. We're looking forward to it.
Just remember who tracks the social media. So
I have access.
I think we all have access.
I think I do.
I don't-
Hugo never got the
I'm
password.
not sure about Connor. He's not much of a passwords man.
I can't remember the password. I think I got given it, but yeah, give it to me because I can. Actually, maybe don't because I'll run right.
just like you lost the Google Docs.
No, we got it up today, mate. So we're all good.
Alrighty.
It's getting a bit tense here, so we should probably call
Nah,
it-
but it's
call it
good
there.
good to have Mansell giving some certainties and hopefully get
Bit of
some
fun.
wrong for our sake and the enjoyment of the listeners.
For his hair's sake, hopefully he gets it right.
All right.
Nah, we won't do hair. We'll embarrass him.
There's not much to
we'll
lose.
Yeah, if it's hair, it could be a career ending.
Didn't mean it like that.
Yeah, that,
I just mean he's always got the short back and
Oh, I
sides.
thought you were talking about the beard, but
Oh, no.
If it is the hair, it could be a career ending for Mansell. So we better stay away.
Coming from this guy.
Who's
Take the hat
I
off.
have currently more hair than him, mate. So I'll back myself in and.
yeah, and
You
it's
can't- you
all
can't
here
even-
rather than
Can't even
all
see
the
the
way
co-
back.
you can't even see the camera. It's like right on the top. It's that high up. The hair line,
Yeah,
but
well, you
anyway.
can't say yours because yours is receding back to your neck.
Well, I've got a cap on, mate, so you wouldn't be able
this
to
is
see
where
it
this is
anyway.
where I chime in, boys. It's been a great episode.
Jesus.
Thank you to all the listeners out there. Make sure to follow us on the socials, and we will see you all next week.